What?
But
We wouldn't do that, man.
We don't do anything.
Can you hear me if I got the mask on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My man, safe out here.
I want to let's start like this. We live already?
We live.
Let's do it.
I like to spring it on y'all. Y'all ready to kick this show off? We ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's get kicking.
This is Fantasy Intervention. Now here to intervene with your fantasy life, Stephie Smalls and Chase Vernon.
Oh man, Bob over here brings up a great point as to why nobody has a cat going on.
I don't
Did y'all see that stuff?
What is?
Did y'all see that today? That was crazy. Like, so I guess it was, somebody higher up in politics was on to do a live feed about everything going on, and I guess his daughter or his wife or something had a cat filter up, and he hopped on, and so it was him as a cat, but he didn't know how to get off it. So he went on and talked politics as a cat the whole time. It was crazy.
That's silly.
Yeah, I don't have a cat filter, but I am wearing my mask. I know Lord. I haven't met Mr. Intervention or Stephie yet, so I don't know if they've been living safely the past couple of months. You know what I'm saying? Because, pandemics are going to pandemic. So as long as we on here together, and I mean, not really knowing y'all, I'm gonna make sure I keep my mask on.
Man, you gotta be safe, bro. You gotta be safe. That's the way to do it. We're almost over there.
Did you know safety never takes a vacation? That's what my mom used to tell me.
Oh God, yeah, we're rounding third base with this thing. We're rounding third base. So you gotta stay safe.
We hope so. Yeah, and your mom was right. Safety never takes a vacation. You'd rather be safe than sorry. You don't want to be coughing up your lungs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, literally.
Let me take the mask down. It's your boy, the fantasy executive. What's shaking, everybody?
Yeah, what's going on? We got a couple special guests in here today, of course. We already had the intro over there from Corey. And then we have Lord Don't Lose, right? What's going on, Lawrence? How you doing, man?
I'm good. And yourself? How do you do? We in here.
We in here again.
Again.
Two times.
It was actually kind of funny. Like Stephie was sitting there and she was asking me like which show I thought was one of her best. And I'm sitting there and I was like, dude, the last time that Lord came on, like she crushed it. Like she called the Vita Vea stuff, like, everything that was going on with Tampa Bay, and everything that she was saying with the injury history. That's what the show is about. Essentially is providing injury information for people that don't realize what some of these injuries mean. Meanwhile, we get to chop.
Vita was a factor.
Dude, he was such a factor. He had such a major impact on this team. So.
I love that boy. That's a big boy. He knows how to play ball.
Big, fast, athletic mug. Too, boy.
Was he 3?
Played running back in high school.
Ow.
No, really? I did not know he played running back.
Yeah,
I had no idea.
His highlight tape, he running over them making them look like babies out there.
Dude, that was like one of those clips, right, where you see like the kid that's like 300 pounds and he's playing with like 10-year-olds, just stiff arming them. That reminds me.
Yeah, he just stiff arming right into the mud. He's gone.
So real quick, Corey, I want to start with you, man. Can we figure out, what you're doing, where we can find you, any kind of content you want to promote, anything like that? Let's go ahead and get started with you first.
You can find me in the trap. It's going down.
Hey.
Yes.
I love Tuesdays.
There you go. It's Taco Tuesday. All right, so peep game right now. I'm Corey Parsons, the fantasy executive. You people that, listen, I don't know when everybody's level of fantasy entertainment or fantasy football, where you get your information from. But, formerly at Sirius XM, a very popular show called The Roto Experts in the Morning. I produced that on the way up. Obviously, spent some time at the Fantasy Sports Network, where the Fantasy Football Frenzy was probably the best fantasy sports show outside of this one ever put to wax. Right now, I am, a senior editor of fantasy and gambling over at SI.com. So I'm pumping out content every day, Monday through Friday, because I don't do the weekends. right now I touched on, doing some NBA right now, make sure everybody get their bets and their plays in. I'll be checking my ticket as we go on through this. So really right now, at SI doing that stuff. And really my thing is trying to create a path and a lane for the new people that's coming up in the fantasy sports industry. I've seen a lot of cats, you know what I'm saying, make their dreams a reality in this industry. So definitely happy to be joining y'all and, spending a few moments and talking about football and life too. I think it's important we talk about life. That's why I'm wearing my mask.
That's always important, man. And I absolutely love that. Speaking of, helping cats in the industry, right? We got to make sure those cat filters don't pop up anymore. But of course we have over there, Lawrence. Lawrence has been killing the game, man. Last time we had you on, it was a blast. What's going on with you? What kind of content are you coming up with?
Well, I'm gonna go off what Corey had just said, man, when he was talking about how he trying to help the new wave of analysts and content creators come up in the game, man. When I met this dude, he kind of made me want to step my game up, to be honest. When I met him, he showed me that it was possible for me to pursue this, you feel me? So him and I, we got a lot in common, similar backgrounds. So I'm just doing my thing. I'm gonna have my podcast coming back when the new league years start back up, and just talking fantasy, talking football, and just living life, baby.
Dude, that's awesome, man. I'm stoked for you. I'm stoked with everything you're doing. Your videos, absolutely crush it. Your content crushes it. That's a big reason why we're huge fans of you over here at Fantasy Intervention, man. So, keep it going. Now, I do have to make sure that we address one of our new sponsors, right, for Fantasy Intervention.
Oh, you got sponsors on this joint?
We got a couple every once in a while.
Hey, can I say something really quick before you talk?
Yeah, of course. Go ahead.
Lord is someone that I admire so much in the fantasy community, and we got to hop on a call and talk, and I've been a fan of Corey for a while, and he told me all about Corey, and this is why the two of them are on together, is because I think that's awesome, and having big fish help little fish in this community is huge, and I admire that when it does come around full circle. So these are two people that I admire, and I love that they linked up before I even knew that.
Damn, Steph, go on. Very well said.
Yeah, we chopped it up because you just like I told Steph, man. I'll if we got a good vibe going on, I'm gonna reach out. Like me and Corey, we like met up for real in real life and chopped it up, because I'm like, hey, if we this close, man, ain't no reason not to, you feel me? So that what it's all about, man. Just getting to know folks and networking, and I'm glad I was able to talk to you, Steph. Outside of this, Chase, you and I will do the same thing coming up here soon.
No, and I'm very excited for it. I'm very excited that, we're able to network at the time that we were, because, we're all blowing up. We're all making our way up. And of course, Corey is over there, helping us along the way, being that support system. So appreciate you.
Yeah, no, well, listen, here's the thing. Like when Laura was like, yo, you come on the joint, I was like, what? You know what I'm like? What time? He's like 8 o'clock. I was like, in the morning, you know what I'm saying? 8 o'clock is like my power hour. But I'm just teasing. Definitely glad to be here and chop it up. Yeah, no doubt.
No, I love that. So, anyways, the reason that we have this sponsor, right, is because of this excellent gentleman behind the scenes. Not too many people actually get to recognize him, because he does do so much work behind the scenes, not just for us, but for Chi City Sports 23. He's also done 670 The Score. I mean, he's behind the scenes on everything. I mean, Corey, you were talking about doing, productions and whatnot, right? Is that what you were, primarily doing back when you did the Sirius XM shows?
Yeah, when I was at Sirius XM Fantasy when it first started, helped build that network and that station from the ground up, and made it real dope. And then I'm not there no more, and it's not real dope no more. But a lot of that was a part of getting here. That's why I was like, you got a sponsor already. I'm like, okay, well, holla at me, because that's a good look right there. Because a lot of people that's doing this stuff for a lot of years, and they can't get nobody to put 2 cents behind it.
Well, yeah. So Steven Johnson, he's over there actually doing a lot of the work behind the scenes. And so we reached out, and we have a couple different sponsors, but this one's brand new, right? And I wanted to surprise Stephie with it. I want to surprise Dave with it, because it is a new sponsor. But we now have JohnElginsMarket.com. That's John johnselginmarket.com, JOHNELGIN market.com. If you guys want to go check him out, you guys can go find him at Steven_Roto. And not only does he do work behind the scenes for us, but he actually does beef jerky. And this is hand done beef jerky. Steph, do you have all the stuff by you? Do you have the box? Go get it. I'll go ahead and start with mine because this guy does excellent work for
Where's
us.
Steph go?
She's going to get the package that was sent to her. So
she's going to go get the
she
beef
forgot the
jerky?
package.
Beef jerky?
Funny enough, I didn't know it wasn't
Like
so
Slim Jim?
and I had it for breakfast.
You had a Slim Jim for breakfast. What's going on, shorty?
Oh man!
Like, I know we.
I know that, brother.
Because I had it for breakfast.
That's too much sodium for breakfast.
Dude, so we got beef jerky. Like they have all sorts of weird stuff. Like they got hot spicy Cajun Gator sticks made from Gator.
Yeah, that looked like a Slim Jim.
Dude, yeah, like jalapeno venison, pork, and pepper jack.
I was
man. No, so not only does Steven_Roto over there on Twitter actually does great work for us behind the scenes. He also has a family business that he's very tied to. So go check it out. It's johnselginmarket.com, JOHNSELGIN market.com.
You can eat it.
You can eat it for breakfast. You can eat it after the club.
You can eat it for breakfast.
You can eat it for breakfast.
If you gonna eat it for breakfast, though, you gotta have some eggs with that too. Now,
yeah, you gotta drink some water behind that.
Some grits with that.
Oh, sugar tips in the
claws. I recommend it with claws.
You can have a Slim Jim, some grits, and a claws.
Yeah,
that's a breakfast of champions.
Yeah,
I love that.
More of me.
Had them bubble guts too.
At noon. Loose bowels.
All right, Steph. It's your time to take over. It's your time to tell us what the show's about today. What's going on. What do we want to talk about?
Yeah, we won't steal too much of Corey's time, and then we'll steal even more of Lord's because you're not a big fish yet, so we'll keep you on longer. But let's just talk about the Super Bowl. I mean, we might as well recap on it. What went wrong? I mean, I actually, just so everyone knows, I'll just brag a little bit right now. I couldn't have called the game better. The score I called sucked. But what went wrong for everyone that thought that the Chiefs were going to win? Start with you, Lord.
Gronk was a huge call for you. You're all over Gronk. You're like, he's going to destroy the middle. He's going to get those touchdowns. He's going to get those out routes. Right.
Yeah, I hit with a very nice parlay there with Gronk. But I knew vintage Gronk had to come out. They were holding out with him. He had 7 targets during the playoff run. It just wasn't. He was going to come down to Brady trusting what he knows, and what he knows is Gronk. So kind of had a feeling center of the field, keep the clock running. It's kind of where I saw the game going. Kind of the scenario that happened, but where do you guys think that this game went wrong for those Chiefs? Because it was pretty brutal for Mahomes. I mean, this was his first double-digit loss ever in his career?
Yeah, Corey, you want to start that out?
Listen, it was obviously the Chiefs had issues on the offensive line.
Yeah.
And you kind of people knew that coming into the game, with the loss of Eric Fisher. Huge. And then the Buccaneers, one of their strengths is their defensive line. So they was able to keep constant pressure on Patrick Mahomes. And listen, no matter who the quarterback is, when you're in his face, when you're knocking him down, particularly when he's already beat up, it's going to make it very difficult. Unfortunately, Tom Brady knows this because we've seen the New York Giants do this to him a couple of times. You know what I'm saying? So the strength of the defense. I'm a Cowboy fan. Steph, relax. The strength of the defensive line. That Giants starter behind you, that joint is lit. But no, the strength, it was strength versus strength, and they definitely had an advantage on that one. And then obviously, just like anything in life, period, when you're able to gain confidence, and you just saw the Tampa Bay defensive unit continue to gain confidence throughout the course of the game, and that's something that we didn't see from Kansas City. So shout out to Todd Bowles with a good job calling the game. Shout out to the Buccaneers defense, and shout out to the GOAT, Tom Brady. Leave no doubt now, he is the best dude to ever lace him up at the quarterback position. I wouldn't say he's the best football player ever, though.
No.
Are you still on Jerry Rice?
I would say
you're on Emmitt Smith, aren't you? No, I'm just kidding.
Nah, not Emmitt Smith.
I would say
it was my man. To me, it's between Jerry Rice and Lawrence Taylor.
I gotta have Lawrence Taylor.
It's Lawrence Taylor all day.
We gotta be
breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
So
so
sitting there and real quick, like talking about how, this defensive line performed and whatnot. I mean, that's an excellent take. They had both their tackles, essentially both their starting tackles beginning of the season out. So Lord, like, are you sitting there looking at the defensive line as the main reason why they won? Or do you think Tom Brady might have, been the reason why they won? Like what is the real reason as to why they won?
Well, I certainly don't feel like it was just Tom Brady. It sounds good to say, and that's what we all want to hear, but it was a collection of that. Everybody did their job. And to talk just a little bit more about the D-line, what's important is how they did it. They did it with a 4-man rush. They didn't have to send extra pressure, which enabled the back end to have extra guys defending and bracketing Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. And in fact, Travis Kelce wasn't even double covered. Levante David did work on him in single coverage. He made plays in the passing game. Levante David did. So with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers being able to just, rush forward and, you get Shaq Barrett and JPP on the edge versus those two middle school tackles, it was gonna be a problem from the jump. So the fact that they was able to not just provide the pressure, but to do it with 4, and like Corey said, how the Giants did it to Tom Brady in 2008, right? They did it with 4 guys, Strahan, OC, Tuck, and somebody else. They did it with 4 guys. So whenever you could do that, and like you said, no matter who the quarterback is, you're in trouble. And Tyreek Hill was nowhere to be found because there was a guy always on top of him, always on the bottom of him. That means somebody else has to win the game, and nobody stepped up in that fashion. So that was the beginning of it. So that was a part of it. On the Tom Brady side, their offense, the rhythm that they was in, it looked the best that it's looked this whole playoff.
Mm-hmm. The whole season, to be honest.
Play action. Hell, Gronk was wide open every time. Like, you better throw to him. He hit Mike Evans on a post in the first half. He was wide open. So it was set up pretty nice. And the Bucks offensive line was the exact opposite of the Chiefs offensive line. And you know that no matter whether Tom Brady is 43 or 53, if he has time, he is going to chop you up. And that's exactly what he did. He didn't throw for a lot of yards, right? He threw for 200 yards, but for 3 touchdowns. So he was very efficient, very deserving of the Super Bowl MVP. You couldn't really give it to a guy on the Bucks defense because it was a no one really stood out like that. So
White didn't stand out for you? Go ahead.
I mean, Devin White had 12 tackles.
Jesus
right?
Christ, that's a lot.
Huh?
Let me hop in here quick.
He had a pick, but it was at the end. Go ahead, Corey.
When you played, were you a running back?
I was a corner.
All right, so when you're a corner, when you're in that position, and it's a game of this nature, you know what I'm saying? But just not even it has to be the Super Bowl, you know what I mean? But when you're in the corner and you're a part of a team, and you see that defensive line is doing work, and you got dudes like Kelce and Hill on the outside. When that defensive line is doing work, how much easier does that make your job?
Oh my God! I like the way the Bucks were rushing Patrick Mahomes. I felt like my old ass could be covering Tyreek Hill. That's how it feels. That's exactly how it feels.
The moment that I feel like they actually got the confidence, that Corey was talking about earlier, was the moment where the ball got tipped back, it's deflected pass, and whichever player was. So, and Winfield ended up coming under and getting that interception. That was like the swagger that I needed to see. That's when I knew the game was going to be out of reach, essentially. I wasn't calling game at that point, but I was like, okay, man, the Chiefs got to do something amazing in order to make this happen. And they weren't making amazing plays. Where it went wrong for the Chiefs was they had at least probably 5 or 6 drop passes.
I call it, they had Ingram syndrome. I mean, I tweeted during the game, Chiefs fans, welcome to my Ingram hell. I mean, like, that is, I could describe Ingram hell. It is exactly what happened during that game. I mean, this guy is throwing jaw-dropping, he's throwing beautiful passes down the field, and every single one is getting dropped. Like, that couldn't have been more frustrating, I'm sure, for Chiefs fans. I don't feel bad because I deal with it every game, but I can see where that was. It had to be extremely frustrating because, I mean, to hold Mahomes to the score that they did is insane.
Is Evan Ingram the most overrated fantasy asset of the last 3 years? Evan Ingram, because every year I hear how great Evan Ingram is going to be, and every year he's an effing bum.
Yeah, he's not. He's never. I don't know who started the rumor that Ingram.
I probably started that shit, but y'all didn't know me back. Y'all didn't know me back then, so it don't count.
Ingram's good, man. Ingram has the talent. He just doesn't have hands. He has rocks for hands.
So
and
how
you hands. You need hands here.
I'm not disagreeing with you. He's in the same boat as Eric Ebron and as Kellen Winslow Jr., where they just can't catch balls. Like, they're literally competing for the worst hands for a tight end ever in the NFL. And, you know, it hurts fantasy players because they see all this upside, but yet he can't do it. It's very similar to, you know, somebody more recent, Andy Isabella.
Mahomes was at 53.1% completion rate by the end of that game. That's really freaking bad for him, right?
That's terrible.
Especially with the plays he was making.
That's crazy. And especially, I mean, no one is catching the ball. It was getting frustrating. I felt bad for him, especially because, I mean, we'll talk about the turf toe later, but he was clearly still in pain. I was trying to tell everyone this like weeks before, but his mobility obviously wasn't exactly at Mahomes' level. But I could see
it was pretty good. Like, it was deep. Like, he got away a lot, but you know,
nothing was getting completed. It was crazy. I felt awful. It was so frustrating to watch.
Because that's Patrick Mahomes. I don't know if I felt like the game was over until maybe when he threw that second No, way before that. I don't know. I just, when it was like 28-9, I was like, they about to do something crazy. And then everybody's going to be saying Patrick Mahomes is the GOAT tomorrow. I was like,
oh, no. Yeah.
I was thinking like Tom Brady, or maybe this is what I wanted. Tom Brady came back from 28-3. Now he's going to give up a 28. But no, it didn't happen.
Did not.
Definitely didn't happen.
So, at this point, I kind of want to go over the repercussions of the Super Bowl. Steph, did you have anything else about the Super Bowl that you wanted to talk about?
No, I don't think so. I think this is kind of just what I tried to say during the season is I did always feel like the Chiefs were a beatable team. I think I bring up this game a lot. That second Raiders game, like, really, I have preached about this game over and over again. It really, it showed me that they could be a beatable team. I know they lost, but I think that the Raiders showed that there were flaws and there was ways to beat them. So then you take on the O-line and where they were, and you take everyone with Ingram syndrome and Ben Brady trying to defend his title in his own stadium after not being with Billy B, and then saving Gronk for the end, having JPP. I mean, they had a lot of vets there too. This team came in with a lot to prove. Antonio Brown.
Bucks always had the better team and the better roster, up and down. Like, you go by position by position. Chiefs are really top heavy. They win at quarterback, tight end, and at one of the wide receivers.
Yeah.
Other than that, you know, Bucks are, well, they got Chris Jones on the defensive side, but other than that, Bucks are better at every spot. And
well, that's part of my question is, like, Patrick Mahomes has signed this massive contract, right? So, you know, I feel like the salary cap is somewhat of a mythical creature. Like, it's not something that, you know, is locked down, going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, they always find ways around it. These guys are too smart to not find ways around the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, you know, with them locking in Travis Kelce, with them locking in Patrick Mahomes, you know, they might have to lock in Tyreek Hill. Corey, is there a chance that, you know, Mahomes never gets back to a Super Bowl and ends up in the Aaron Rodgers wasteland?
Now, listen, you talk about Aaron Rodgers. You can talk about Dan Marino. You know what I'm saying? You can go back that far.
Yeah.
Dudes who went to the Super Bowl young in their career and never went back, but Patrick Mahomes is not in there. See, one thing that Patrick Mahomes has that we didn't mention, and Lord mentioned them being top heavy. They're also top heavy at head coach and Andy Reid. And Andy Reid is going to make sure that they get back listen, they got to shore up that offensive line. That's going to be very critical for them. I think they got to become a one-back. Andy Reid team's always a good when it's a one-back system. I think Clyde Edwards-Helaire is the guy. Obviously, you have Williams, who opted out from COVID this year. The back end of that defense can be some trouble as well. So listen, they're still, in my opinion, the best team in the AFC. The Baltimore Ravens and the Buffalo Bills are a little bit closer to them than they were 2 weeks ago.
How you feel about that, Lawrence?
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely still atop the AFC. What's known is that, hey, if you get to the guy, if you could get there with your 4 guys, we could cover these receivers. I mean, to be honest, I was on I think y'all know him too, Steph, Bogart Scott Free. I was on his podcast, and I mentioned last week that I mentioned last week the Falcons almost beat the Chiefs in Kansas City, right? Mm-hmm. So that
they lost the lead.
Huh? Hey, look. Hey, I said, look, if they was a normal team, they win that game. But it ain't like that. It ain't like that.
They're not a normal team.
In true Atlanta fashion, you know, and of course, Younghoe Koo, the best kicker of the year, misses a field goal. But yeah, I mean, teams are now good. It's like how they be saying about Lamar Jackson last year when they lost to the Titans. Oh, we see something now but you also have to have the players to do it too, right? Mm-hmm. Tampa Bay has Devin White in the middle, Levante David in the middle. Those are 2 of the most athletic linebackers you could get at the position. So it's not like, hey, let's try to run this scheme. You got to have a play. You got to have a Shaq Barrett and JPP that could rush the edge. Now, I think even if Eric Fisher plays, if he plays, you know, he would have had problems with JPP and Shaq Barrett, but
JPP is the one that blew his hand off with the firework, right?
Yeah,
he's been playing better.
He got a club joint. He's got it's just taped up like that.
He played against Brady in the Super Bowl with the Giants. I mean,
I think he deflected a pass with that club hand, by the way, just for the record. He deflected a pass. And by the way, Lord, you're sitting there and you're talking about, right, how, you know, like how there was the 4 guys that anchored it. The other one was JPP. Talking about the Giants anchoring that line. Yeah.
The first Super Bowl?
The one where you're talking about, I think it was Strahan, right? And then
Strahan.
I think it was his rookie year.
He wasn't with Strahan. He was on the next one.
11.
He's on the 2011 team.
He's on the
2011 team. Yeah, it's all good. You know, and listen, I'm not a New York Giant guy. I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan. I think that jacket is dope. Got that retro look to it. Yeah. I don't know if it got the helmet on the back of it or not. But the New York Giants have 2 fake Super Bowls as far as I'm concerned. In 2007, that was straight fugazi. They should not have gotten that far. They were losing and should have lost every game.
Hey, they got a ton of help. Steph, it's a man who since 1995.
You know what?
1995.
You know, I always say.
So nice because first let me open my clock and now I'm.
Get your white claw. Go open up one of them John Elgins. Open up one of them John Elgins. Slim Jim.
And go make some grits.
I respect you so much, and I admire you, and I love everything that you do. So I'm going to be nice, but I just have one question for you, and that's it. And then I'll drop the mic. When was the last time the Cowboys won their Super Bowl?
Dez caught that pass.
Listen, sir.
So as far as I'm concerned, the Cowboys won the Super Bowl. The year that Dez won that game from Dez Bryant, that's the year the Cowboys won the Super Bowl. I believe that was 2015. Cowboys won the Super Bowl in 2015. They beat the Patriots.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah, I wonder what I was doing.
How long did you say you could be on? Is it time for us to wrap?
He wants to hang out for your injury report, actually.
Yeah, I want to hang out. Yeah, let's get into the injury report.
Oh, look at that. Huh? You want to shit on my team, but you want to hear
She's like, you stick out.
At least I like
Manning is a god.
Wow, that one hurt. I'm a little sweaty right now. I'm trying not to get angry.
Oh my God, Steph.
Okay. That was
okay.
Academy Trace. That was very controlled.
You were. That was actually the most
good job.
If I said that, it would have been like a bomb went off. I swear.
Oh yeah, I would have quit for sure.
And by the way, the Washington football team, right, and the Cowboys, they have the same motto every year. Well, two different mottos, but they stick with the same motto. The Cowboys always say, "Man, we should have had him this past year. We should have had him. If this didn't happen, if this didn't happen, if this didn't happen, we should have had him." With Washington, it's, "Man, we got him next year. We have this, we have this, we have this. All we need to do is add one more piece." It's the same motto for both teams every single year.
I'll take that. You know what I'm saying? I'll take that. I'll let you rock. I'll let the Giants fans rock with that. When you in Jersey too,
I'm a Washington fan.
Oh, you like Washington? Oh my God.
Well, I was. I renounced my fandom.
How did you like the football team? What happened?
I don't even know, man. I can't.
Mental illness.
So I renounced my fandom over the summer. I was like, up until they fix their front office, up until they fix everything going on, I'm not going to buy any of their merchandise. I'm not going to, go support the brand. So, right now I'm looking for a new brand to support in the meantime. I've got a few different ones that I'm leaning towards, but I can't support Washington and the organization that's been running for the past 20 years. It's just not an organization I want to get behind.
He does this every single time. He's a Washington fan.
I just know everything about it. I'm a diehard. I can't just they're always going to have a place in my heart, but I'm not going to support them anymore. So, Steph, let's go ahead and let's jump into your injury report, because I really want to know about the turf toe, because I've been reading articles all day and my mind has been blown. Like, I don't know what the hell they're talking about.
First of all, I need to tell my Gifty, can you move your light? Because it looks like there's something phallic behind me. Thanks. Okay. We changed our setup because we're studying in here now. And so my roommate and I have a desk across from each other, but for some reason it was shining behind me and it looked ridiculous. Okay. So Patrick Mahomes needs surgery, which is crazy. I think, Chase, we kind of talked about it briefly today. This isn't the most common outcome for turf toe. Actually, only 12.5% in the study that I was looking at ended up needing surgery. So usually this is something that you can get by with no surgical intervention. But with him, he actually did have a little bit more serious. He totally had a rupture of the plantar plate in his foot, which is way more severe than just your average turf toe, which means that what they were doing was sticking him with lidocaine and putting a little insert in his shoe, and he was getting by that way. So normally with these surgeries, sometimes they're 4 to 8 weeks, but he's looking at a couple months. I mean, they're talking about him being out the whole postseason. We're looking at 4 to 6 months with him. So it's a little bit shocking. I think that it was obvious that it didn't hamper his mobility too much, but actually research shows that with offensive players, they're not really sure why. They tend to have a little bit more of an impact, and they seem to be a little bit more affected post-surgery. So it'll be interesting to see him coming off. I think this also shows how important that offensive line is and how important you need to pay, how important you need to protect someone that you're paying as the highest paid athlete in North America. So I think that it'll be interesting to see with he did have a little bit decreased escapability I saw throughout the games. I mean, we're talking about Patrick Mahomes. He's still a star. But with these higher skilled players, they normally come back because the NFL has a limit. They have so much money to make sure that they end up doing very well. But it's something to monitor. I think that I felt bad for him. He was definitely limping after some of those plays. I don't know if anyone caught on to it because it's the Super Bowl and we're all drunk and high on the game and all excited. But he definitely looked like he was in pain. I mean, this was something that it was pretty obvious to me. I noticed a decrease in mobility prior to this game. I think that he still wasn't necessarily Patrick Mahomes, and the more you're getting hit, and especially so, what happens is running backs and wide receivers are the ones that are usually the most impacted by these injuries. But when you have a very mobile quarterback that's like Patrick Mahomes, you have to treat him a little bit more like one of those players. So we're looking at people like Lamar Jackson, like Kyler Murray. These are quarterbacks that are a little bit more mobile. They're not like your standard quarterback that's not moving as much. So you wonder Is this something that's maybe going to impact him a little bit more moving forward due to the fact that he isn't exactly your standard quarterback? He's more mobile. So does he start to kind of fit into this running back scheme when it comes to looking at all this research?
So I was sitting there, I was looking at it, and like you brought up, and this was something that like I was like, damn, she hit this on the head. The majority of the people that have turf toe, they don't have to get surgery, right? Meanwhile, the people that have had surgery actually did show a slight decrease in production following that. Now, like you brought up, and you already mentioned this, it's normally wide receivers, normally running backs, even tight ends do show a very slight decrease in production. But the surgeries, like how successful are these surgeries, like overall?
You remember at one point, Antonio Gates had like turf toe for like 5 years. Turf toe is what ended Deion Sanders' career, basically. Turf toe.
Yes!
Yeah. So
yes.
that's
you beat me to it.
Turf toe hurts. This is actually shocking to me. So usually what they'll do is it can cause basically it's a sprain or a tear, and what they'll do is it leads to progressive deformity. So to try and stop that in these so they're really only doing this because it's Mahomes is the best way that, in my opinion, they're pushing the surgery a little bit more because it's Mahomes, because they just paid him so much. So if this was someone else, they'd try to do rehab throughout the off season and try to maybe get him to a place where he can play and get some stability through interventions that are not surgical. I think because it's Mahomes and he's expected to play at a very high level, they're going to do the surgery because they want to prevent any late deformity in the joint there. So it'll be interesting. They're very successful surgeries. These are things that they do all the time. Everything is very advanced now. I know Chase and I are going to talk about the ACLs next week and how that surgery goes over. The thing is, things are different from years ago. I mean, everything's getting very advanced, but I mean, it's very... most of the time you don't need surgery. So it's interesting that they're going right to surgery. I mean, this is a guy that got this, the first playoff game, right?
Yeah.
So this is a little quick. I mean, look at the first person I'm thinking of right now is someone like Antonio Gibson. This season you saw him have a turf toe, and they put him back in the game after resting for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Mahomes hasn't even touched the normal resting period.
Are there grades? Are there grades of turf toe?
Yeah, of course. It's all about the severity. I mean, I'm thinking they are saying he tore it. There's no way in my mind that he didn't rupture it with the amount of time that they're saying he's going to be out. I could be entirely wrong. They could be not releasing certain information, but there's nearly a 0% chance that he didn't have a full rupture. If he just had a tear, I don't know why he would be out for more than 2 to 8 weeks after that surgery. So it's going to be interesting to follow this and see exactly what happens with him. But there's definitely a chance for him to have decrease. This is something that could be very, very limiting for players. But I think because he is someone that's obviously a high-level athlete, he's expected to perform at a high level. He does rely on his mobility. That's one of his weapons, being Patrick Mahomes. So they're definitely doing it to prevent any late deformity, to make sure that he doesn't get to a point where it's plaguing him his entire career.
Well, real quick, like for the people that don't know, because not everybody understands what some of these injuries are. Like they think that, for example, a high ankle sprain is a completely different injury, like not even related to a low ankle sprain. What exactly is turf toe?
So turf toe is because of the artificial turf, which makes the surface very different than when you're playing on grass. So this isn't something that we saw all the time. It's more so because it doesn't have the bounce back that grass does. So for making it easy to understand, it's like stubbing your toe, but you're stubbing it downward. So it happens a lot on tackles, and it's forceful on the joint. So the way that it hits, and if you go back and you look at the way that Mahomes got hurt, I can post a video tonight so that people can see it. But the way that it's almost like jamming the joint, and that causes pressure, and that's where the injury comes.
Hey, Steph, you got some kind of medical background?
I'm a med student.
Oh, okay, that's cool. No, it's definitely a market for that. You know what I'm saying? There's definitely a place for that. Like the cats that I know that do injury reports, they always working.
Yeah, it's interesting, and it's been fun. I've been doing the rehab report since October, Cheese?
Yeah, right around then.
Yeah, it's been a good time.
And Normally we just cover individual players, but throughout the offseason,
I'm certain over here nervous for Patrick Mahomes now. Thanks a lot.
They're going to have to sign a backup quarterback.
They're doing what they need.
I'm getting all sad and stuff.
Wait, no, he's not dead.
He's not Patty, man.
No, it's kind of crazy. Throughout the offseason, the whole thing that we're going to be doing is we're going to highlight a certain injury. So we're going to do ACLs, we're going to do, ankle sprains, mid to or low to high end ankle sprains. We're going to cover everything that people might have misconceptions with. Like, for example, Steph, can you tell us what the difference is with the pre-rehab? Just a quick, overview.
For the ACL.
Yeah. Just the difference.
So it's very cool. I'm such a baby. I've been trying to record this video about Saquon for maybe 2 weeks now, and I can't get it out because I don't know how to record without it being live. But so with prehab, and this is why Saquon, I think, has, and this is not being a homer as a Giant, but this is why I'm very confident in Saquon, is that what they did with Saquon is he did a prehab. So you'll notice a lot of these players like Burrow, like OBJ, they went right to surgery. So what the surgeon chose to do with Saquon is they waited 6 weeks prior to his surgery. So what that allowed was it reduces swelling. It gives him way more range of motion. That's why he was caught on that bike without a mask at the club, doing whatever he was doing.
I seen him at
and the reason why.
I seen him at IHOP in October, and he was just walking like a normal dude.
Yeah,
when
because
did he do that? Like
it's
week
crazy.
4 or something?
So with him is his MCL actually healed completely on its own.
Nice.
When they did the surgery, they were able to salvage his meniscus completely. So a lot of players will actually have a meniscectomy. Oh my God, I messed it up. They'll usually have the meniscus removed, or at least part of it removed. They left the entire thing completely in, and his surgery went great. So he's someone that's in a great position to moving forward. Excuse me.
Clear that throat.
Yeah.
COVID.
I got nervous.
Put the mask on. Put the mask on.
This is real.
The research is showing now that doing these prehabs are actually setting players up to do exceedingly well. So you look at someone like Adrian Peterson, for example, who is I'm comparing his injury to Saquon's a lot. Adrian Pearson, he came back that 2012 season, did phenomenal. That was one of his great, I think it might have been his career high, followed by 2013 and maybe 14. I'd have to look at the numbers, but Saquon did a much better position than Adrian Pearson is. And Adrian Pearson had to go back a couple years later and have his meniscus done. So you're looking at, I'm trying to compare players too, which is cool to do, but I haven't seen anyone really do a prehab the way that they did with Saquon. So I have high expectations for Saquon. It helps them from worrying about any arthritis moving forward. So someone like him is in a really good position.
Where would you draft him next year?
I am still drafting him mid. I took him maybe in the league 106. I would still take him.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got him at that 104, 105, 106 range.
I'm taking him as the first running back. I'm taking him over Christian McCaffrey, but we'll save that for another day.
I think it's Kamara, McCaffrey, Cook, and then Zeke and Saquon.
Yeah.
Or Saquon and Zeke.
I had Saquon as the top coming into this past season. But
I like his. I like where he is with the team, where they are. Hopefully, depending on who they add. I mean, Saquon really needs a RB2. If he doesn't get an RB2, I'm definitely not taking Saquon much higher.
Really?
He'll get then.
So you want to? Okay, all right, that's interesting. I mean,
so you want him to split carries?
Who?
You want him to split carries, or at least have somebody else to take some of the work off.
Yeah, Saquon does best statistically with a wide receiver 1. So his best season.
Okay. A wide receiver.
Right. But he also needs an RB2 to be able to pick up the slack. We can't just rely just on Saquon. So they need a wide receiver 1. They need an RB2 just to pick up whatever. And then Shep needs to get used in the slot the way that he should be. But who knows?
Talk about that all day.
I mean, don't even get me started. Please, can you take him back? Or I don't want him. I don't claim him.
I'll take him back. I'll take the clap over that ton of a gun we got in Dallas now.
I mean, that's
true. You want him
true.
back as an offensive coordinator, or do you want him back as head coach? I'm just curious.
As the coach, at least they tried when he was the coach.
Yeah,
it wasn't even that. Mike McCarthy. They was like, I was over, son. You know what I'm saying? I'm like,
he got that Super Bowl though. He got that Super Bowl.
He got that Super Bowl when Dez caught it. So there you go. He should be back.
Yeah. I mean, I always say Jason Garrett, he's a better head coach than he is an offensive coordinator. You could ship him to the sun. I don't care. This guy stinks.
But he back though, ain't he?
Oh yeah, please don't.
Yeah, they re-signed him. The redhead genius.
Ugh.
They'll be all right.
Actually, I kind of like him as his advisor role right now, but we'll see what happens this upcoming year. I mean, I don't think the staffing was correct this upcoming year. We'll see if the Giants actually can put a alpha wide receiver in this offense, see if, Sterling Shepard can succeed. Darius Slayton can succeed. We'll see what happens with Daniel Jones. It's going to be very interesting to see.
Please.
Didn't know Darius Slayton.
Don't get me started with him.
You don't like Darius Slayton?
No. 52.1% completion rate. No, thank you.
That's
not going to cut it.
That's his.
When the quarterback is throwing to him. No, that's probably when the quarterback is throwing to him.
When the quarterback is okay. That's bad too.
But he's not what he's chopped up to be, I think, a little bit. I think that you can't be the second most targeted. And actually, Darius Slayton maybe gets some of the best balls in the team. And if you go back and watch film, he has some serious butter hands this year. It's really frustrating. He cost the team 11 points. I love Slayton, but I think part of the Giants' problem is that he's a wide receiver 3. You can't treat him like a wide receiver 2. Everyone needs to play their part. Shep is a wide receiver 2, and that's what he should be playing. He shouldn't be a wide receiver 1. So it'll be interesting. They need a wide receiver 1, and they need an RB2, and Saquon can't carry the team.
It is what it is. So let's go ahead. Let's get out of here. We'll start out with you, Corey. Let everybody know where to find you. Your handles, what you're doing.
Oh, you can find me at the Fantasy Exec. Everything gets retweeted out of there. So just definitely glad to hop on here with y'all and wish everybody all the best. You know what I'm saying? And listen, don't forget, free agency is coming up. The NFL draft is coming up. Fantasy football is 365. So make sure that everybody's locked in. Just because the games are not playing and the points not tabulating don't mean it's still not work to be done.
Dude, I love it, man. Absolutely love it. Lord, what's going on, man?
For sure. You just like you see on this here screen at Lord Don't Lose. I'm coming out with my quick videos every time something happen. I'm gonna be on there with it. Like I said earlier, Lord Don't Lose podcast will be kicking off again when the new league year start, and I'll keep on collaborating with y'all for sure. And I appreciate y'all having me on again.
Love it, man. We love having you on. You're definitely somebody that needs to be known in the industry because your come up is going to be very important, very crucial to the fantasy community. You know what you're talking about, man. You crush it every time you come on.
I'm trying, man. I appreciate it.
Stephie, what you got?
Steph just smile. She just be smile. That's why I like you, Steph. You positive. You just right there smiling. I like that.
I'm like, Mahomes might be screwed. No, I'm kidding. He's going to be fine, everyone. No one freak out. But I thank both of you for coming on. It means a lot to me for you guys to join us. Everyone can find me at Stephie Smalls with 3 L's. Definitely check out these guys. They're some of the best out there. 2 of my very, very favorites. And Chase is okay, too. So you can find him as well.
Thanks, Steph.
See, Chase, that's how you know it's love there. You feel me? That when you know it's love.
This is my work husband. We talk about it all the time.
I can't with her. I can't. No, but it's all good. I love it. All right, you guys can go check out all of our content. We have a total of 7 articles coming out, 6 quick shots, which are short videos, compressed about players, and 2 bar fights, along with multiple other things happening. They'll come out by Friday this week. It's insane how much stuff we have coming out content-wise. For a small company just getting started out. We have we got beef jerky.
Gems on deck.
No, I absolutely love it. It's something that's been a lot of fun. Steph, you ready to do the outro?
I don't know how to do an outro.
You're about to do it because I'm going to start it and then I'm going to stop, and you have to know where to pick it up. All right?
Okay, I'll try.
So you're not going to sing now. Okay.
You got we're going to sing. No, but no, we appreciate you guys for coming in, listening to the podcast. It's been a pleasure having both of y'all. So, real quick, Stephie wants to say one thing. Thank you guys. Go ahead.
No, finish it. Do the first half.
Oh, God, that is the first half. Thank you guys for listening. And thank you.
Thank you for letting us intervene with your fantasy football life. We're out.
Amen.